What are you really saying in reality, nigga? Okay, this is what I want to understand. So, I've been battling over a debate I've been having with myself for about a week now. So, I imagined that God uh, does not trust our speech in order to create things, so he withdraws his creative force from our lives to where we can't just speak. Um, hey, I want what I want this lottery to win on this day at this time. You see, so part of that, of course, is due to lack of faith, because you don't trust um, the Most High, right? But I've also been battling with, did the Most High revoke our power to create that thing to happen? And so I think I finally came to a conclusion on this matter, and I think that they, the Most High, have not revoked our power of creation through speech. Okay, it's just that so many people are speaking similar things that the reward you're looking for defaults to a more worthy person. So now worthy means cunning as a serpent and harmless as a dove. Uh, that's generally speaking, that's worthy. Of course, it's extremely more intricate when it comes to how the Father and how the Most High judge, and so it's completely impossible for us to know uh, their judgment. It's completely impossible. So now, what are you really saying, nigga? In reality, what are you really saying in reality, nigga? That's the title of this. What are you really saying in reality, nigga? So now, if I'm looking up, I'm starting at the end of that phrase. I mean, near the end of that phrase, reality, right? So I'm looking up the word reality, okay, and so the it part, right? It is yah, okay. So it's yota, right? So this could mean whom. It says here Strong's 3487. Is corresponding with Olive and Tav, as a mark of the direct object or the accusative, and not translated. So the phrase would be similar to whom, right? So if I look up the Jacinius, I haven't looked this up. I'm just looking this up just now. Maybe it gives me a little more detail on this. Okay, so, okay, it's hidden in this stack of information. All right, so whom? So I'm defining the word reality for you in its creation form of, okay, because I've always been under the impression that all words create. Everything we say creates. So when we create something with our words, we can easily negate it with our own words, or other people speaking about you or your idea can negate your word. You see? So this is why true consensus are important. Uh, Having a majority of people saying what is true will cause that thing to exist. Understand? So there's only two languages in existence, and that is truth and falsehood, truth and lies. Those are the only two languages that exist. So the pure language that will be returned to uh, the Israelite family, the Israelite worldwide diaspora, will be truth. That's why many self-identifying Israelites call this way, truth, and life, and this lonely walk that we have, they call it the truth. How long have you been in the truth and things of that nature? So, they are, babes in the truth. So I try not to offend them. And of course, the pure language that's going to be returned to us is truth. So now, what are you really saying in reality, nigga? We know nigga means black. Okay, so please, YouTube, get over yourself. Okay, we should be allowed to say nigga anytime we choose. All right. So now you got reality. Itty part of reality is whom. Okay, so real. We know what real means colloquially, but it also means something in its uh, cause 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 and effect form, or whatever you call it. The causatory words create things, so words cause things to happen. So this is the beginning of the word real right here. Okay, and it is a shower or irrigation, and you're thinking like an irrigation, or you shower like a sprinkler system, moisture, watering. You understand? Okay, so this is what you're doing. You're watering something. You're watering, and then the latter part of real, that's the RE, and real AL is means might. So, uh-oh, did something wrong. Okay, here we go. All right. Uh-huh. This is the word I'm looking for here. All right. So this is the latter part of L, see, of real. REAL. Okay, but it's spelled differently to, try to throw you off, because you wouldn't know which one to choose here. But all you have to do is look up the words, the full words, and you'll conclude that the EL is the definition that we're looking for here. Strength as adjective, mighty, the Almighty. So we're showering mightiness, or we're showering the Almighty, and then whom? One whom showers the Almighty. So if you say something like, I am a real nigga. I am a real nigga. So I am is the self-existing one. So you are sustaining your existence according to yourself. This is how you feel about it, right? But people like myself who understand that there is a God outside of us, an original God that created everything, is the one who is sustaining you, and you just feel like you're sustaining yourself. You see? So mighty men, men of rank, mighty heroes, angels, God, you see? Mighty things in nature, strength, power. So this is what you're showering. You are showering this. You are showering this onto the audience. So somebody say, yeah, hey man, I'm trying to holler at you, bro. What's up? You say, man, I am a real nigga. Miss me with this, or let's build. You see? So you just said something. You just created something. You don't even know that you're creating things as you speak. So there's a lie out there, off topic, that you can take something in one ear and out the other, right? And they say that just went in one ear and out the other, but your ear can't expel conversations at all out of its cavity. You understand that? Your ear can't talk like a mouth can. You understand? So it only inputs conversations and information. It doesn't output information at all. So that's just one example out of millions of examples that we do daily, when we lie about things inadvertently, and to us it's meaningless, it's minutia, it's small, it it's not hurting anything, you see. But everything we say is a real problem or a real blessing. Okay, so I just said or, and this is the word we're looking at right here, is kind of spelled or, but it's pronounced Yuri, I think.
Strong's H217. Or.
Okay, or, you know what I'm saying? If we say or, I'm thinking this is part of this definition. Okay, the flame, hence in the plural, the east, as being the region of light, fire, light. Okay, so I'm reading Second Ezra's. So I had started in 5, because of course, what I had initially wanted to look up all of God's favorites. You know, his favorite is a sheep. His favorite river, which is the river coming out of the Garden of Eden. His favorite pit, which is the Garden of Eden. Uh, his favorite flower, which is a lily. All his different favorites. His favorite wood, which is the vine, which I would have to presume is a grapevine. Yeah, of course, it's a grapevine. And you know, all his different favorites. His favorite fowl, his favorite bird is a dove, and things of that nature. So I was looking all that up, and I was reading it, and it really got real interesting to me. So I'm reading chapter after chapter after chapter, and in the next chapter, so this entire time, uh, Ezra is speaking to an angel by the name of Uriel. Uriel, right? Uriel. Okay, so now this angel told Ezra that before everything was, he was there, and he's the one who created it all. So now we know from the Bible who the creator of all things is, bro. That's obvious. But in Ezra, it says that Uriel created all things. I'll show you that. Don't worry. I'll show you this. I got a little bit of evidence with me because I've just been reading this kind of stuff. All right, so we know good and well who in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The same was in the beginning with God. All things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. So I'm looking up, I'm recognizing Uriel speaking as this person, and it sparked in my mind. I said, did he make all things seen and unseen? I was curious about that. So I went to the Bible to say, you know, he's talking like this entity in John 1:3. Okay. Because I always presumed, and I could have been wrong about this, that Phanuel uh, was the pre Jesus Christ, right? He's the pre Jesus Christ, Phanuel. So a lot of people call him Peniel. You know, Jacob's ladder, the angel that Jacob wrestled with. There you go. So now, why is Jacob wrestling with the angel? Because half of Jacob, or lots of Jacob, which is I would suppose is uh, hundreds of millions of Jacob on earth. Okay, so a lot of us don't believe in Jesus Christ at all, and kind of absolutely despise him. You understand? So now that's why you're wrestling with the angel. You're wrestling with God. He said, I'm wrestling with God. And then the angel let him go. Okay. I'll get into that in just a second. Let me see why, see what he did. I know he crippled his hip. So he crippled his hip, so he was crippled the rest of his life. Right? So he said, you can't let, you, uh, I will not let you go until you tell me your name. So then he finally told him his name was Peniel, and the people who have studied these things quite a bit, equate Uriel with Peniel. I like to call him Phanuel, you know what I mean? But because the doggone Egyptobots always confuse Peniel's name with pineal gland, and then uh, retarded Egyptobot women always mispronounce pineal gland as penile gland. So I like to call that angel Phanuel, so there is no misunderstanding. All right, so now Uriel is equated or equal to or the same person as Phanuel according to many different people. So this is just like a surface understanding of this information because uh, this Uriel archangel is brand new to me. Okay, so now I'm recognizing this person as this person in John 1. And so it sparked in my mind, seen and unseen, and I couldn't find the verse that says that. So I have to presume that this person is this person because there was only one creator of all things. You see, so as I'm reading, I'm like, hold on, were there multiple creators of different things like you know, the Most High, uh, what do you call it? Delegated his authority to angels to create varying things. Is that what happened? And then I find out, no, he created it all himself. And without him was not anything made that was made. In him was life, and the life was the light of men. And the light shines in darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not. You see? Didn't comprehend the light. So that's what we read there about Uriel, right? Now, see? That was made. So I was looking up seen and unseen. Just kind of walking you down my thought process. Unseen is not even in the Bible. And then I looked up real, and real is not even in the Bible. So if real is not in the Bible, then what does real mean? And people say it so often. And it just so happens that Israelites say it, sleep Israelites say it often. I am a real nigga. So what are you really saying in reality, nigga? I am. You understand how deep that phrase is to uh, a biblical, a God-knowing scholar? I'm not one, but I would like to fancy myself as knowing a little something. So, so that's what I'm saying. So I'm looking at this. I say, man, hold up, man. Uriel is claiming the John 1 attestation. You understand? So I'm looking up creator and all this. I'm like, hold up, bro. It's only one creator. But you're an angel claiming to be the creator. How you managed to do that? So let me show you that, what I'm saying, what I'm talking about, bro. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so I got stuck right here and said, I got to look this up because this is amazing to me. Okay, so check this out. So we all know Second Ezra chapter 6 verse 9, where it says, for Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that follows. But why you never hear an Israelite talk about the rest of the information? Tell me why. Because you don't know. Because this is Uriel talking the whole time. And he says right here in 2nd Ezra chapter 6, at the top of the chapter, and he said unto me, he's talking to Ezra. So Uriel is talking to Ezra. It says, in the beginning, when the earth was made, before the borders of the world stood, or ever the winds blew, before it thundered and lightened, or ever the foundations of paradise were laid, before the fair flowers were seen, or ever the movable powers were established, before the innumerable multitude of angels were gathered together, or ever the heights of the air were lifted up, before the measures of the firmament were named, or ever the chimneys in Sion were hot, and ere the present years were sought out, and ever the present years were sought out, and or ever the inventions of them that now sin were turned, before they were sealed that have gathered faith for a treasure. Wow. Then did I consider these things, and they all were made through me alone, and through none other. By me also they shall be ended, and by none other. You see what I'm saying? I said, man, hold up, bro. You talking like, how's the angel Uriel talking with this type of authority? So bold. Okay, so I had to conclude that Uriel is Jesus Christ, pre-Jesus Christ. Had to. No choice. Because that's what it is. I mean, that's obvious. Then answer said, what shall be the parting asunder of the times, or when shall be the end of the first, and the beginning of it that follows? So Ezra asked Uriel about the future, about the end of times and the beginning of after the end of times, because it's ancient knowledge, understanding that anything that ends easily denotes a beginning of something else. So everything that ends has a beginning of a new thing. And Uriel said unto Ezra, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follows. So I haven't deciphered this next verse here. It says, the hand of man. Okay, so the hand of Adam, the hand of man, is between the heel and the hand. Betwixt. Okay, the hand of man is between the heel and the hand. So it's some other riddles going on down here too at the bottom, but I really don't know what they mean. If I studied it for a few minutes, I could probably figure it out. But you can tell me if you already know. Other question. Ezra's, as thou not. Huh? What? He told him not to ask his next question. I answered then and said, O Lord that bears rule, if I have found favor in your sight, I beg you, show your servant the end of your tokens, whereof you showed me part the last night. Okay. So he answered and said unto me, stand up upon your feet and hear a mighty sounding voice. And it shall be as it were a great motion. But the place where thou standest shall not be moved. And therefore, when it speaks, be not afraid, for the word is of the end, and the foundation of the earth is understood. And why? Because the speech of these things trembles and is moved, for it knows that the end of these things must be changed. And it happened that when I had heard it, I stood up upon my feet and hearkened, and behold, there was a voice that spoke, and the sound of it was like the sound of many waters. See, there we go, another reference to Jesus. So this whole thing is referring to Jesus quite a bit. But I want to pull out one little thing before I go. Another interesting coincidence here. Okay, I want to change it to the regular speech here. Okay, 5. I want to say let's dispose as the world. It says here. Look at this. Like it's talking about how women have children. So they have children, generally speaking, one after another over the passage of time, and then it's a lot of people have twins and triplets and quadruplets. The I think the world record, you might have 8 at one time, or you have a octobirth. You have 8 children coming out of one womb at one time, like one after another. Of course, they can't come out simultaneously, so they come out still through passage of time, and that time is generally minutes after one another. So it was talking about that the powerful, chosen, super powerful, world-renowned priests have to develop over time throughout time in order for them to present themselves as approved by the Father. You see, so now there's something that he said here that was so funny to me. I don't know. 7 days bears rule. All the lands chosen, flowers in one pit. See, that's what started me to look at this. And among all the multitudes, one people, that's Israel. Okay. And now, as it given to one people, many gainsay promises, believing the covenants, trodden them down. He said he disposed of the world. Let's see if I can find it. I was reading it in the Old English, so it might be a little harder to find it in the regular English if I'm just glancing through it now. But my main point is, what are you really saying in reality, nigga? Right. So when you say I am a real nigga, you are creating that which you have spoken. So all words, every word you say creates. That's just a bottom line, automatic, non-stop reality. So now, what is it creating? It's creating the definitions of the syllables. You see? Or more precisely, it's creating the shapes of the numbers, the shapes of the numbers. So all numbers link up together in varying patterns. Okay, so all words and letters are in fact numbers, and the vibrations go out and they link up with the atmosphere and does what it does, and becomes the thing that you have said. So this is why a lot of people realize that you shouldn't tell people what you're about to do, because you don't need their negativity to negate the reality that you're trying to create for yourself, or that you do create for yourself. So everything that you say becomes, you see. So now check this out in 2 Ezra chapter 5 verse 49. For like as a young child may not bring forth the things that belonged to the aged, you see, a young child is not smart enough to bring forth as much advanced knowledge and 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 thought processes and action and words, eloquent words, truthful words. You see, a young child can't perform on the level of a normal aged person. You see, that has learned all those things. So even so have I disposed the world which I created. You see that? This is just another cold cut sandwich. This is a cold cut sandwich where we know as Israelites that the entire uh, uh, multitude of humankind is a drop of a bucket, is a small dust of the balance, and Israel is who the earth is created for. So we know that. We know that. And this is just another cut to them people. For like as a young child may not bring forth the things that belong to the aged, even so have I disposed the world which I created. Funny guy. Boy, Jesus got a great sense of humor. And I'm glad I met his pre-existence angelic name, or reputation, I meant to say, as Uriel, which his name means flame of God, the light of God, and I have seen that person. This is why I recognized. See, I'm reading this whole thing. I said Uriel and Ezra are having a very interesting, in-depth conversation. So I'm like, man, how do I talk to this this angel, or how do I speak to God? So Ezra had to cleanse himself 7 days in order to communicate with this angel. So that's what I'm like, man, how do you cleanse yourself? I need some guidance, like ASAP, bro. You feel me? I need some real guidance. So it's original guidance from the creator. Okay. So now check this out. It clearly says that Uriel was speaking here, and he announced himself through his similitude as the creator of everything. That's who Uriel is. Then when you look up Uriel's name in the blue letter, it's the light of God, and that is the person. Oh, so there's no use of driving that point home, because you haven't seen the light body. And the light body is the definition of Uriel's name, the light body of the Most High, you see. So it's a extreme confirmation for me because I've seen that light body, and when I was a child, okay, or maybe I was a man at the age of 13. I don't know how that works, but in our modern thinking terms, uh, I often call myself just a baby. I called myself a baby till I was 18 years old. I said, now that I'm, old and thinking back to 18 years old, I said, man, I was just a baby. But 19, I said, okay, now I'm a man. You feel me? So, Israelite and Hebraic culture determines a young man. I feel comfortable in saying that much. A young man as 13. You see, so that's still a man, but you're just a young man. Before that, you're a boy. You understand? So then you learn and learn and learn until you become a grown man, a growing man, because you never stop growing. And then, uh, you get to around the age of 30, then you can become a teacher. So let me go ahead and take this time to announce that we're in our final stage of funding for Club of New Jerusalem. And we're being sponsored by Bebop, BBOC, Buying Back Our Communities, headed up by Yanaib Yasha And we're also in communication with a man that gave himself the title as His Imperial Majesty. So that's like a big time uh, big time title that worldly people give themselves. Imperial Majesty is a style used by emperors and empresses. It distinguishes the status of an empress from that of a king or queen, who are simply styled Majesty. Holders of this style have sometimes been observed to follow religious leaders who are styled His Holiness in public ceremonies. So you see what I'm saying? So there's the hierarchy right in your face right there. So kings and queens are beneath uh, emperors, and emperors are beneath His Holiness. You see? So there's only one. Oh, well, there's quite a few uh, dum dums who name themselves His Holiness. So you want to stay away from these exalted titles because they could mislead you. You say you might think that they are really real. You understand? So what did I just say, nigga? In reality, really real. You see, showering almightiness upon the audience. That's what real means. You understand? So now we are in communication with a, a Gentile man who who assumed the title of His Imperial Majesty due to his family, uh, the Roman emperors. That's what he's a descendant of the Roman emperors. So him being descendant of the Roman emperor, he gave himself the title of His Imperial Majesty. He's the one. His family are the people who hijacked Israel's fortune, but they have kept it in a somewhat kind of sort of intact. I suppose you might want to say, for lack of a better word. They have it very extremely well documented and hidden and protected. So, but they have that way in order to share our family's fortune with the entire earth, who have amassed a debt that they cannot pay. So he wants to reset their debt, and they because they don't have to pay, he's going to reset their debt to zero. They no longer have to pay the trillions upon trillions and trillions of dollars that they owe the people that they robbed it from, but they also owe blood for the hundreds of millions of people that they killed throughout the centuries. So this is his goal. He's going to reset their debt, and on top of that, give them monies based on the GDP of their countries, their individual bordered lands. I mean, that's amazing to me. I don't get it, bro. Why these people don't understand how things work? You can't just hijack everything and just keep going that way, bro. It's strange to me. So he wants everybody with some type of intelligence to partner with him as he literally um, conquers the earth. That's what he's doing. He's a Roman empire. He's a Roman emperor who is dedicated to never harming not one Christian on the face of the planet. So, uh, you know, I'm just going with the flow and going where Jesus tells me to go, through the lessons, because he don't speak to me directly anymore. You see, he don't speak to me directly. You understand? I mean, verbally or telepathically or any of those things. You see? So I stay confused, but I do study uh, quite a bit. I do study quite a bit. So I just prefer to be obedient to whatever the book say. So for prophecy say, prophesy and do these things, then I'm going to do everything in my power to attempt to do those things. So now, lots of prophecies have been fulfilled. All the prophecies about Jesus Christ have been fulfilled. A lot of the prophecies, that Daniel put forth was has been. Uh, I don't even like using the word fulfilled. What I'm trying to say is that they have come to pass. Is what I'm trying to say. They have come to pass, because they try to say once you fulfill something, then it's over with. When a fulfillment is actually an establishment of something. So if I'm building building a house, as the Bible often says that God is doing with us, He's building us up as in building a house. And then so once the house is complete or completed, that doesn't mean it poof disappears. It's gone. That means it's now established. It's fulfilled that I built the house. So, Christian dialect uh just don't work. I used to be a Christian before I found out my nationality in 2010. So I understand their confusion because, it's just how we're miseducated. We only go to church once a Sunday, twice a week. Once a week on Sunday, twice a week if you're lucky. If you got the gas money to go to Bible study and you can stay awake. You understand? So you don't learn nothing. And then they don't even know the information to share with you. But they do have a zeal, and so that kind of keeps people kind of grounded towards uh, the top dog boss. You understand, Jesus, the boss, it kind of keeps you grounded towards that way, right? And then you got to learn the information. So this is why Jacob wrestled with the angel whenever he saw Jacob's staircase. It's kind of colloquially known as Jacob's ladder, but it was actually Jacob's staircase. So you got to look these things up. Fringes are also feathers, and they can look hair-like as the popular fringes, but then fringes can also be feathers. You see, this is why indigenous people wear feathers, because they were wearing fringes. So I'm glad you know that now. So when you look around the world and you see these fringes all over the world, it's because of our family. Israel has influenced and blessed uh, everybody on earth. And so we'll be happy to continue to do so. But you're gonna have some knuckleheads who are gonna think that we are just as ratchet and corrupt as they are. So they're gonna do everything in their power to kill themselves without assisting in placing us into the authority of the planet, just as they did the Jewishers. So their goal to create a consensus is to lie and go crazy, you see, and just get everybody on the same accord to get as many people as they can to say what they need created. You understand? So they created that campaign, that the Holocaust hoax, in order to get people to empathize with the Jewishers, and then everybody thinks that they are the Israelites that the Bible speaks of. So as you can see, everything is still in complete shambles and has gotten worse. And the earth is extremely angry. Yeah, the earth is taking its anger out on these people. But they don't generally promote all the plagues that they're under, because they're confused. They think they can continue to hijack everything for the rest of all of eternity, and their end goal is to just slaughter every Israelite on the face of the planet. But all that does is usher in the kingdom. Well, thank you. Well, thank you for slaughtering us all, but that ain't gonna do nothing but usher in the kingdom, and you people are gonna be burning up real heavy. I'm talking about burning, 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 burning. You see, that's how that works. When you go against us, you don't do nothing but cause problems for yourself. When you love us and bless us and assist us, you are blessed and assisted double. So this is why so many people are filthy stinking, because they assist Israelites. You see? So in New Jerusalem, which I'll be happy to found, and you see, with the monies that we're receiving from our sponsor, Bebop, you see, and which, according this guy with the title of His Imperial Majesty, to receive enough monies from him in order to build New Jerusalem as well. But I mean, we're dealing with look who we're dealing with. I just don't understand what I can tell this person that would motivate him to do what's right. So he's speaking the right things, but no, I don't know what he says in private. So if you say something in private that is opposite of what he's saying in public, so what is his public declaration is that the banks failed to alleviate poverty from the earth, which was their original mandate in 1933 and 1928 at Jekyll Island. They came up with a plan saying that, hey, y'all trust us. We'll, the Medici boys that started Western banking. Even though Israelites been banking from the beginning of, you understand? So they hijacked banking. They said, all y'all got to do is trust us and we'll make sure there's no more poverty on the earth. So, so their goal, their mandate to alleviate poverty on the earth, but this is this is their means to an end. You know, they say that the means just end. This is what they say in their imaginary stupidity, right? The means justify the end, or whatever, however that saying goes. Let me see if I can find it so I can say it right. Means justify the ends, right? Ethics, right? Means justify the end, meaning this is how they planned on alleviating poverty from the earth by killing all the poor, everyone, all of them. Anybody that's poor, kill them. That's how they had planned on alleviating poverty from the earth. Okay. I mean, it sounds good, but it's wrong. So the way that you alleviate poverty from the earth is very obvious. What you do is you create an environment of stability that allows people to learn how to make that type of money. But my strategy is to create an environment of peace that will cause an environment to where people can learn obedience to God properly. Because if you're obedient to God, then abundance occurs supernaturally, and through um, favor and diligent work, where you're commanded to work 6 days a week and rest on the seventh and observe uh, 7 feasts throughout the year and a number of memorials throughout the year, and establish the laws, statutes, and commandments. So what we see today around the world is that our law that our family received from the Most High is acceptable to everyone on earth, everyone that matters, of course, because only the Israelites matter. But I'm saying that there is no dispute of significant uh, of any significance in the governing world, or however you want to say it, the United Nations, or the sophisticated world, or whatever you call it, the civilized world and all this stuff about the Bible. There's no significant dispute about the laws of the Bible. Okay, so now it's the foundation of every single bordered imaginary nation that they hijacked from everybody, right? So that's what they have done. So now we're in that time where it says the meek will inherit the earth, and then so as soon as they decide to see, I'm gonna guess their new strategy. So their old strategy completely failed. They were they failed in killing all of the poor, and all they did was cause people to go be extremely upset with them. So now, this gentleman that calls himself His Imperial Majesty, he, uh, I'm gonna guess his strategy, because he speaks publicly that he's going to alleviate poverty from the earth. So my guess is that he is going to do like the ancient emperors did, and by you know, conquering with the sword and things of that nature and stuff. You know what I'm saying? When the people came over here, the European competition of taking over the New World and Africa, how they took over North, South, Central America. They came in, killed everybody, and then established their nation from there. So that's what I'm suspecting that is going to happen uh, whenever he's in full power. But they're only going to be successful in uh, murdering the Israelites around the world. You see, and then Jesus is going to have to return because they're getting slaughtered. That's Jacob's trouble. You see what I'm saying? He's going to have to return abruptly in order to stop the killing. That's how I read prophecy. It's a guess. It's an educated guess. But I'm gonna get out of here. I did not mean to stay this long. But watch this again if you want to know reality, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? So what are you really saying in reality, my nigga? You know what I'm saying? When you say these things, you are creating everything that you're saying. You can negate it yourself, or people that hear you don't believe you, and they can negate it for you by saying it out loud. That that's not gonna happen. I don't believe that. You see? So watch who you tell your information to. And since you a real nigga, since you shower almightiness onto your audience to make them almighty, you see, then you need to keep up the great work. You see what I'm saying? Stay almighty. Keep showering people with knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. That translates into money. Okay, so now when you are perfectly obedient to the Father, then you'll end up like like the Israelites. You'll get an opportunity to live momentarily and briefly in paradise on earth that you build for yourself with trillions of dollars at your disposal in order to train up billionaires under your watch and in your society, and then be slaughtered by that's what you got to look forward to, bro. That's a glorious thing. That's what you don't understand. Because there's life after death, which none of you people realize. So you think when you in the dirt, you stay dead. Doc, just keep laughing. All right, so I'm gone. God bless me. And fuck everybody else.